All right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson for 10 minutes before we pivot to the Guardians and the home opener.
Yeah.
This happened. We're going to play the quote. I'm going to set it up. We'll play it. We'll react. This happened on Wednesday.
Okay.
The Ravens held a NFL draft press conference with John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, the GM, and they told reporters stick to draft questions. Well,
Ridiculous.
A beat reporter, and I'm not sure his name, but kudos to him for asking a question about Lamar Jackson. Well, you can see in the clip. Steve, you can take it. Anthony, play it.
With respect to this being about the draft and everything, just with the Lamar stuff that's going on.
Hey guys,
are you all looking at quarterbacks
Alex, if you can, this is about the draft. Move off the Lamar question. We're not going to answer more questions today.
About the draft? Are you looking at quarterbacks differently because of the situation that's going on?
Yeah, I don't think we really are. I mean,
Essentially, he was kicked out for asking
Is that a different guy asking the second question?
It was the Steve.
Hey guys,
Are you all looking at quarterbacks
Alex, if you can.
And he got killed on typo. There we go. The Ravens reporter tried asking a question about Lamar. The PR person, which is why it's quiet, is off camera, off mic, says, hey, no question about Lamar. He tried asking again. They kicked him out the press conference.
All right, that's ridiculous.
Hey,
I mean, first of all, these, as far as I can tell, the coach, the GM, they don't talk in the offseason unless there's a big free agent signing. Ravens haven't had any big free agent signings. They haven't done anything in free agency. So as far as I know, Harbaugh and DeCosta, is that their GM now, DeCosta? I don't think those guys have spoken to the media since the season ended. Why would I care about your draft? All I care about is Lamar Jackson. And to say you can't ask questions about that is absurd. And to kick a guy out for asking about Lamar Jackson, wasn't like he asked about the GM's wife or something.
bro,
Give me a break.
That's a sucker move.
Oh,
you know
my
what?
God.
And these dudes, this is why I don't even be liking coaches like that. I just don't. This is why it just rubs me the wrong way, because it's so many people that be carrying water for this organization. I'm tired of hearing how great they are and how they do stuff. Oh, you're a grown ass man. You can't answer a question. Well, you so sensitive that you can't. Come on, man.
Well, here, go to this, man. This is the times we live in now. You can't ask. I mean, it wasn't like the guy was religious. It was a question. Like, you have to be man enough when you're at the helm here, right? You're at the helm here to answer the question and there's a way to answer and move on. You could have easily said, listen, man, we're very interested in getting Lamar back in the fold here, but until we do that, all options are on the table.
Right,
and
that's all you got to say.
And kept it moving.
Boom.
Like, here's the story. All options are on the table.
Yeah.
That's a message to everybody. I said, you don't have to ask me 100 times. This is the deal. We like him, but the terms are this, right? Here, the Ravens, and it's not just the Ravens, right? Because the Ravens are just a sample of what it is in professional sports here. You have people so sensitive to the media and the questions, because there's 1,000 people out here trying to get you a got you question.
Yeah,
If
right.
ain't no got you question. Here's the story. No. My man that I want, he's not in the fold. What are you going to do? The guy says, what are you going to do in the meantime?
Right.
I'm going to do whatever necessary, because if he ain't going to be in the fold, I got to check everything.
And it's a valid question.
Done.
The draft doesn't matter without the quarterback.
Gee, that question could have been answered in 15 seconds.
Lamar Jackson is the entire team.
Right.
He's their entire offense. They suck without him. So if I'm covering the Ravens, all I care about is Lamar Jackson right now and what's happening with that situation. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care who you're drafting with the 20th pick.
And I would say this. Here's the story. I want to bring him back on the phone, but I'm not paying him $200 million. Just say that.
Fine. Yeah, be honest.
I'm not paying him $200 million. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
Right?
And you don't even have to, that'd be great if he said that.
I mean,
you don't even have to go that far.
No, you would. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not telling you anything I haven't told Lamar. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I said I can't do that.
It's a crazy situation, and the Ravens are a mess.
But
yes.
I want you back, though, but I can't do that. Right?
G is right.
And this is why, in my private discussion with Lamar, this is why I can't do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
at the end of the day, he has to respect you for at least telling me what the deal is.
Being honest about it.
You might not be happy about it, but this is where I am.
G is right. The Ravens and Steelers get a pass for everything they do. Everything. Now, they've earned it by being well-run organizations for a long time. but neither one at the moment is as well run as it has been in the past. Both of them are on the decline in terms of how they're run, and they get no criticism. Every time the Lamar Jackson thing comes up, people get up in arms about the Browns signing Watson. They say, why isn't this other team signing? Blame the Ravens. They've had 2 years to figure this out here. They haven't been able to figure it out. It's a tough situation. I get it, because Lamar's high is really high. He's injury prone, so you're worried about it. It's tough to find a middle ground there, and because he doesn't have an agent, it makes it harder. I get it, but in the end, you can't keep blaming everybody else and pretending like you've done nothing wrong.
See, this is you know why you're looking crazy? Because you Harbaugh, I remember. See, I'm petty enough to I saved this article.
Are you petty like that?
I'm petty like this. I
Okay.
saved it in my notes. I said,
Petty
Oh,
LaBush.
that's what you're in your notes now.
they're in my notes now.
okay.
I'm taking notes now. I say Harbaugh praises Ravens' zero tolerance policy, right?
What's the
We
zero?
talked. Now this is zero tolerance in concerns of what they was talking about with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Harbaugh chose not to unleash publicly over the Washington decision, instead pointing to his own franchise for its zero tolerance policy. I respect what owner Steve Bisciotti and former team president Dick Cass has created here almost 10 years ago, Harbaugh said. Basically, we're a kind of zero tolerance. You have to know the truth. You have to try to understand the circumstances. We've stayed from that particular situation. When we draft players, we sign them as free agents. That's Steve's decisions, and I'm glad we have that policy. Now, listen, you did all that talking. You did all of that gyrating. Oh, look at the Cleveland Browns, all these picks. This is what you get for signing a guy. We here in Baltimore have a standard. Oh, really, do you? You only good as the guy that's snapping that ball. I want to see how good Harbaugh looks now. They already was talking about you a couple years ago, Harbaugh. You sitting up, you see his face when they asked that question?
He looked horrified.
Didn't we tell them we put a gag order? Didn't we say we were not talking about that? Get up out of here. Now y'all got to figure out old Cleveland Browns, how it is to be the new Cleveland Browns. Because guess what? You're going to have to find a quarterback. And it's harder than it looks. And you ain't got the Wizard of Oz, who you stole from us, to go out here and make the moves for you. Now, let's see what you're going to do. All year, you might be looking at 4 and something, dog.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt there. I mean, they'll get a chance to prove it, but I can't imagine they're winning many games without Lamar Jackson.
Well, I would say, and you made a good point. The inability of Lamar Jackson to secure a deal has been aided and abetted by his inability to have proper representation.
Right,
And I'm not saying his mother's not proper representation, but I'm saying here's the game. This is an old school game. This is an old school league. They're gonna do the same thing
right.
all the time, right? When you get outside the pocket, it just does not occur. Your mother can still run the show by hiring somebody else to bring somebody else in. You're going to pay them. You don't have to pay them the full 4%, 3%. You can cut a side deal with them and say, I'm going to pay you X here, because you need somebody to be your mouthpiece, right?
Yeah.
And it can't be you and it can't be your mama, right? It's got to be somebody else to go in there and take the daggers, because you got good cop, bad cop. You got to have a person in the middle that can say, come on, let's get it.
And they was throwing darts. So for me, basically, Lamar Jackson got to a point where it's like, you wouldn't treat your franchise guy like that, right? He's almost thinking like this. He's almost thinking like, hold on. Now, Deshaun Watson was accused of all this stuff here. And I saw the Haslam's riding for him. I saw the Haslam's taking the bullets. I seen them taking the darts. I thought they came up at the end of the press conference. He still got his money. He did. I asked for the money. These dudes, my own team start trashing me in the press. My own team started, but if you that good, go get it from somewhere else. That's tough. If you trying to negotiate with your wife, you say, if you don't like me so much, go find another husband. That's not gonna work.
That would have not occurred if he had a mouthpiece for him.
Right.
Because those conversations would have went on behind the scenes, and nobody would never be privy to him, right? But see, that's the problem. And now, because what it has become now, it has become very personal.
Yeah.
Now you have personal animosity between. Now there ain't no way you get into a freaking deal, because when you go to deal, it's like I caved in on you and you was talking about me, right? And I'm reminded, when I first was drafted by Chicago, my attorney took me into the negotiations. And so Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause sitting across the table from it, and before we started negotiations, they were like this. He says, they were like this. are you sure you want him in here with us?
Right.
And they're like, no, we want him in here with you because we want him to see how this goes, right? And so I was like, okay. He's like, you ready? This is Jerry Ryan stuff to me. You ready? This is the owner of the Bulls. You ready? Okay. And they said, all right, so that started the thing. Then they went in and said, listen, I said, here's a number. We'll slide this over to you. And then came back, and no one was a number nobody was going to take. Then they started to go into you like, oh, we didn't want him no way.
He actually,
even though they just drafted
they drafted Malik Sealy too. No,
we didn't want him no way. Right? But it's the game, and so as we were going through it, right, they wasn't personal because during the midst of it, I'm sitting there like, what the hell?
Eyes wide open.
And so he sat up there. Jerry stopped him to his credit, and they've been good. They're good people.
Yeah.
Jerry leaned over to me. Jerry Krause and Jerry Ransford leaned over to me. You okay?
You good? Don't blink.
You okay?
You good? You should.
All right. Okay. Now we're getting back to this. And then at the end, they say, listen, none of that was personal. This is the business of this. This is how this goes down.
But it's hard to separate.
Yeah.
It's hard to separate.
Now, if I was doing it by myself,
right,
I'd be sorry.
I've been offended.
Yeah. And that's the situation we're in right now.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, he's done.
Lamar's taking it personally.
Yes.
I probably would if I were him too.
Yes.
And he's absolutely looking at Deshaun's, and he's saying, well, I've done more than Deshaun.
Right.
And I've not gotten in any trouble off the field. He's saying that to himself.
This is why I always tell young people in the business, if you come into this business or any business, don't be enamored with somebody else make.
Nope. Stay in your own locker.
You listen, if they gonna offer you some money that you ain't never seen in your life, take it and be like excited about it because it changed your life. But the first thing you need to do is understand if you go around pocket watching somebody else, you're going to be miserable.
You know that happens.
Stay in your own locker.
You're going to be miserable.
Remember to Lamar. Lamar, they not paying $38 million here out on the street. That's not happening.
Because at the end of the day,
it's not happening.
At the end of the day, boo, if you know what a number somebody else make, you're not going to be satisfied until you get.
And that's the tricky thing in sports because all this is public.
All of it is public.
It's not like in our business.
In our business,
you get $30 million if you create Instagram. Or you're an inventor of that. Right? Things like that. You can get the money.
Yeah.
I said, but regular everybody,
no.
People going up and down the street driving, they're not making that kind of money.
Final thing on this, I think it's going to be interesting once the draft is over. At that point, will some of these teams that don't have a good quarterback now, because think about it, if you're Indianapolis or Atlanta or one of these teams that has bad quarterback and you have a top 10 pick this year, you're like, well, as great as Lamar is, I don't want to give up a top 10 pick right now because if I wait and make him an offer a month from now, well, now my first round pick that I have to give up is next year. And next year, if I got Lamar, I'm going to be at least a borderline playoff team, if not a playoff team. So instead of picking 6th, I'm picking 18th or 20th, and I got Lamar, I'm okay giving up the draft pick.
Yeah, because now
what's the rush if you're those teams?
You kick the can down the road. If you're the Indianapolis coach, you say, listen, I got a 4th pick. I'm going to use that 4th pick, get better.
Exactly.
And then go get Lamar. We'll worry about the picks later.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you guys, I think he's done. I don't think he's done.
If I'm the Colts, the second the draft's over, I'm either negotiating directly with the Ravens or signing Lamar to an offer sheet. I'm getting him if I'm the Colts.
This goes hard and heavy after this draft.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right, let's leave it there, guys. It is opening day.